送的呀？啊，就是给他送的呀。
In order to see a transit, the Sun, Mercury, and the Earth needs to be perfectly lined up. Now, when we look at the orbit of Mercury around the Sun, it's actually slightly tilted compared to the Earth. So on average, Mercury will transit the Sun 13 times per century. So the next time we'll see a transit of Mercury after 2019 will be November the 13th, 2032.
So Mercury is very tiny. We are in the interior of our solar system are terrestrial planets. We're actually quite tiny when it comes to comparing to, say, Jupiter or Saturn. And the Earth, if it were to transit across the Sun, blocks out less than 100 parts per million. Mercury's even smaller. So you're talking about just a teeny tiny little black dot traipsing across the face of the Sun there. If you look at it, say, with your eclipse glasses and no binoculars, nothing like that, you would probably be very hard-pressed to even notice Mercury. It's that tiny. But if you go to a science museum where they're projecting an image of the Sun, or if you look online where the Solar Dynamics Observatory will be showing you beautiful imagery of this event as it happens, you will definitely see just an ink black, tiny, tiny little disk. And that's Mercury as it's blocking out a tiny part of the light of the Sun as it goes across very slowly.
I felt like it was very
Mercury is much smaller than our Sun, so when you do view a transit, what you'll see is Mercury as a small black dot moving across the bright disk of our Sun. And the idea is that you will need a telescope in order to see the transit of Mercury. And not only that, but you'll need a telescope with a solar filter. If you do have any sort of leftover solar eclipse glasses, unfortunately you won't be able to see the transit for that reason, just because it's too small. Astronomers first started taking an interest in transits in the 18th century, and the idea was that originally we used transits of Mercury to find out that Mercury didn't have any moons, but also to measure distances in the solar system. But now we can use transits of Mercury to better understand Mercury's atmosphere, as well as exoplanets. Now, exoplanets are planets that orbit other stars in our galaxy. So these are planets outside of our solar system. And most exoplanets we find using a transit method. So that's when the exoplanet passes in front of their star, and that star dips in brightness. And using these exoplanet transits, we can figure out the size of the exoplanet, but also we can study the exoplanet's atmosphere.
Sacalo. Sí. Entre el día y la noche 600 grados. 10 segundos más. Aparentemente el cielo se va corriendo y nosotros lo que más notamos de día es que el sol planeta. Esa manchita que parece chiquita es... puntito es Mercurio. Si se van un poco las nubes, se va a ver